Hey guys, it's just Ryan here from Triple0 Medical Recruitment. This is the first of our videos that we're going to be doing. We're going to do a series of them, and today, as you can see by the title, obviously we're talking about mental health, which is something that's pretty prominent in the media at the moment, and we have been doing quite a few articles obviously regarding what's happening in the UK and in our own doorstep here in Australia and New Zealand with regards to longer hours and different contracts going on there. So I just really want to highlight some facts and figures around physician suicide. And look, recent reports have suggested out of the US that 400 physicians will die every year, and that's just in the US, remembering. So a statistic is such a great thing, but I think we need to humanise what that means to people. And you know, these are wives and husbands, mothers and fathers, and daughters and sons to somebody. So you can talk about a stat, but it needs to be brought to light that these people are actually human beings, and taking the ultimate sacrifice for what's going on, and that's just terrible. Medscape also released some stats recently that between 28 and 40 doctors per 100,000 will commit suicide, so taking life into their own hands and paying the ultimate price. When we can compare that with the general population is 12.3%. So as we can see from that, doctors are twice likely to commit suicide with physician-related stress. And I don't know about you, but that to us seems a very, very worrying stat, and we need to look at why that is happening to people and why they feel that they have to make the ultimate sacrifice. Is it something that needs to change at a hospital level? Is it something that needs to change internally for people? So we're going to look into some of those facts and figures now. So it's time to talk about why we think these things are happening. Why are people committing suicide, paying the ultimate price for their career? First things first, we think, you guys face such a big pressure. You face death every single day, and it's all well and good saying it's very easy to deal with death, and you guys have been trained to deal with death in your jobs, but to some point you take your job so seriously, and you always take a part of your patient home, that sometimes death can get a little bit too much. And this can add to the pressure when you come home. You always take home your work, and just that build-up, that consistent build-up of that kind of experience can make it really, really difficult, and that's something to be wary of. Secondly, we believe it's the vice-like pressure of trying not to kill your patient. I mean, that is your job. You have so many different parameters that could go wrong in an operation that, you're checking everything. You're checking with the anaesthetist, you're checking with the nurse. It's just that consistent pressure of not stuffing it up. You're so proud of what you do, and you've worked so hard to get to where you are, and you've got a patient lying in front of you who is committed fully to believing that you can complete this operation, and that pressure alone must be mammoth. And I always think about what one of my friends said to me. She said that, we're not selling shirts here. If I get the wrong size shirt, I can take it home. I can take it back to the shop and change it. It's very easy for me to do. When a doctor makes a mistake, and we're only human, that pressure, you can't take that back, and things happen. So, point two, that vice-like pressure of making sure your patient stays alive must be immense and very, very challenging for our doctors. So point three is the ups and downs of medicine. We all know what a roller coaster ride you've all been through. It's just, even to get to med school is a massive accomplishment. So for what you're all going through now, and the next stage you might be going to, it's just the immense pressure of those ups and downs, those successes, and those, well, not so much failures, let's hope, but those down moments. And I know a lot of physicians go through those, and it's very hard to stay on an even keel all the way through your career. So just recognizing the fact that you go through so much ups and downs, peaks and troughs, it must be very, very difficult on your mental state. So point four is juggling family life and medicine. What what a challenge it can be, and also sometimes we believe it's a bigger challenge than medicine itself. A lot of people have got family, a lot of people have got children that they have to, offer time to as well. And when we talk about that statistic, that's 74 hours a week goes on actual work time. That there's going to have to be time where, you've got to put dinner on the table, you've got to boil the jug, you've got children wanting to read to you or tell you about your day, and just that general juggle of life with work is very challenging, and in some cases can push doctors right to the edge. So we believe that's another factor that our physicians need to watch out for. So point number 5 is very important. We feel is just the general ethos of the hospital and of medicine itself. It's such a long, archaic, very old school system that sometimes medicine, it's just so deeply entrenched in its traditions, and it makes it really difficult to be a contemporary hospital. So there is that underlying ethos and that underlying belief that asking for help is seen as a weakness, and that's a real challenge for many of our doctors. They forget to speak up because that's the way medicine has been, and that's the way medicine is, and that can be a real challenge. So how can we change this? How can we change such an archaic system, one that says work, 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 and forgets to care for the carer sometimes? How do we change that ethos, that ingrained system that is in place in the moment in medicine? It's difficult, but with small incremental changes we can really make a difference to our physicians' lives and in turn our patients' lives as well. And their first point is we want to become an agent for change. So we want to be the pivotal point within the hospital, within wherever we may be. We want to be the agent for change. We want to be seen as the person who sweeps new reform and sweeps changes through the hospital. We want to be the pivotal point where physicians come to us and talk to us about our problems. Point 2 is to actually become mental health aware of the problems and the issues within the hospital. Do some research on Google, find out what signs you should be looking for as far as mental health, also mental health issues. Understand how physicians have come to that point and what you need to do to assist them down the track with whatever issues they have. So really become mentally aware of mental health. Point 3, try and change the ethos of a hospital. Try and change it, whether that be through being an agent of change, as we talked about earlier, or whether we go right to the top and we look for complete reform. We want a contemporary hospital. We want one that looks after not just the patients, but looks after those that care. Point number 4, make it okay to talk. This is a general issue within medicine. It's like I said earlier, it's seen as a weakness, and that shouldn't be the way it is. We spoke to a number of doctors recently about how they feel when they're feeling mentally stressed, whether they feel okay to talk about their issues. And surprisingly, all of them said they didn't feel comfortable. They felt that their seniors and their consultants and even the hospital itself would see it as a weakness, would see that they aren't ready for their job, they aren't ready to do what they do, where we all know that obviously they've been trained significantly to a significant level, but that was the real challenge, that those doctors actually said they felt like they couldn't ask for help, and that's wrong. That's the wrong way to be working in. So make sure that you surround yourself with people, and yourself as well. Make sure that you let other people know that it's okay to say, are you okay? And make that part of everyday life going forward in the hospital. Try and achieve some balance in your life. I think it's very, very difficult. You have medicine, which is such a dominating career, and it's dominating all around really. Try and have medicine balanced with everyday life. Try and do something that's not medical. Try and join a club, do a hobby, but try and know when to switch off from medicine, and that's easier said than done sometimes. but turn off the phone, put down the research, and actually have you time and time with your family. So as you may or may not know, Triple0 is quite big on social media. We have a number of followers on Twitter and Facebook and Periscope and LinkedIn, so we do quite a bit with social media. So what I'm going to do now is going to give you some resources that we've found and some people who we believe would be beneficial to follow, primarily from Twitter, who can offer real insights to what they're going through. So first of all, we have Dr. Olivier Branford. Dr. Olivier Branford is a plastic surgeon who has a large social media following and is a medicine advocate, so using social media and medicine together. A strong female and mental health voice, so we recommend following him. He's got some great insights to what is going on in the physician world. Dr. Ian McPhee is an anaesthetist who supports a health system that cares for our doctors. He is basically the brainchild from the hashtag mental health for docs. I recommend following that and following him as well. He's got some great insights and some help on how to alleviate that physician stress. Dr. Nikki Stamp is a heart and lung surgeon who is a big supporter of women in surgery. She is also an advocate for mental health for doctors. Well worth a follow, and she's some great information, some great tips for our doctors going forward. Dr. Alasanya is a physician in the UK who supports 360-degree healthcare and physician wellness. Once again, another great doctor advocating, caring for the carers and really looking after our docs. So well worth a follow. Next up, we've got Professor Min Lee Kong, who is a rural doctor in Australia and a retrieval specialist. He is out in the outback, out in the wop-wops, and he really enjoys what he does. So Dr. Lee Kong is a big advocate for FOMED, so that's free open access medical education and physician wellness. Look, follow him and you'll get some great information on how to protect yourself going forward. Next up, we've got soon-to-be Dr. Claire Chandler, who is currently a med student and chair of the GPSN. She tweets about protecting the physician through mental health and is well worth checking out on her Twitter feed. So we hope that's given you some great information on how to protect yourself as a physician. Obviously, there's a lot of things that need to change within the industry, and hopefully all of us together can be one big voice and really push hard for physician wellness and protect those doctors, wives, husbands, sons and daughters from paying the ultimate price. Never forget that 400 physicians will die this year, and that to us just seems crazy. So let's all be one voice and really make a difference to physician wellness. Take care.
7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7